Hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. For today's episode, it is Witch from Mercury. And you know what? Actually, I wanted to avoid doing another video on Witch from Mercury. There's been so many, but I guess I'll just have to. What's interesting about this last episode from Witch from Mercury is it kind of opened up some crazy theories. You know, just seeing this Elon number 4 singing "Happy Birthday" is a reference to the birth of Elon number 5. If you really think about it. Yeah, the birthday thing is pretty interesting. We've learned more about that Elon character. Number 4, obviously a play on 4 from Zeta Gundam, you know, being a cyber new type, and we've learned we've learned that he is some genetically altered thing. We don't really know exactly what it is, except that another one of him came in the room and talked about giving him back his face, and I'm just like, wait, what? What? Yeah, and this person saying this whole episode's basically the biggest red flag ever. 21 years? Yeah, they made reference to something 21 years ago. Ariel has a pseudo NTD system. Maybe, or it could just be the fact that it's the first time that Ariel had to fight something like that. And that ghost scene is really creepy. R.I.P. Elon number 4. So, again, a lot of this is getting into the speculation. But when it got to that battle with Soletta and Elon in his Ferric Gundam, we had the Gundam Ariel. The Gundam Ariel did something where it shot out its bits and it surrounded Elon in his mobile suit, but then all of a sudden it had a figure, it formed like a figure of someone, like a humanoid figure, and it was all light, and then it was all of the bits for that, and it went around him, and it's like, okay, what? I mean, some of the theories are saying that each bit from the Gundam Ariel's bits are previous clones of possibly Soletta or someone that they get the data from their usage by after they pass, they put it into the bits. So with Iroha Tamaki on Reddit, you know, thanks for the Gundam community, especially on Reddit. This episode said that 21 years has passed since the prologue. I was not expecting the Eri isn't Soletta theory to actually be true. This means that Soletta is almost definitely an Eri clone made 4 years after the prologue. Elnora Prospera also treated Ariel as her daughter, which makes the Eri equal Ariel theory pretty likely. With the reply, I just realized that when Prospera said, I trust my darling daughter, she could have meant Ariel instead of Soletta. So this is a good call out by Zionic Scans. If you're not following on Twitter and you like Gundam, you should. But speaking of which, I didn't notice that Elnora was basically daisy-chaining with Soletta during the battle. I'm wondering if we'll see some sort of forced piloting in the future. Expendable people, so the pilot doesn't experience the trauma effects. So that is an interesting part about it, because a lot of what Elon didn't like about when he met Soletta and figured out she was able to pilot this Gundam Ariel is that she wasn't being affected the way he was. And then kind of, yeah, take a look at this, where we see, you know, Lady Prospera's arm, but she had the arm plugged into what you would think is Soletta, but maybe not. And then we can see when the permet score stuff increased or whatever, we see the blue on her face. Oh, and I just saw this for the first time. Someone posted, I mean, look, this is what this picture is representing what these fan theories are, right? Clones of Eri. One is called Soletta, that their data is then used to continue to build upon the Gundam. I mean, does it have to be because with the reason the Gundams or the Gundam system was banned was because it was killing people? So instead of it killing people, you just, I guess, still kill them, but clone them and then put their data. Either Soletta is older than she thinks, or we're going to have clones everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if Ariel maps her consciousness every time she's in it and backs up to mom. So the timing thing is weird, right? When they brought up the 21 years. So from Tom Asnable. So this line from G-Witch 6 has really thrown the prologue series timeline into question. Wikipedia says it took place in AS-109 for a while. It said 110, but let's be clear, there was no date on the prologue. This date is likely based off the age difference between Eri and Soletta. Age difference between... See, this theory is becoming more and more. It's no use taking revenge for a 21-year-old. You know, so really, where does this leave us? I want to kind of say that what's going on here is we're used to the trope of someone being cyber-enhanced in order to pilot a weapon of war, right? An extreme weapon of war that will win the battle. It requires abuse and experiments done to a pilot. And what they're starting to show with Witch from Mercury is at first we're learning that there's clones. So, okay, that's one way to go about it. You have someone that is a clone, which, they did with the Marita, the Play clones, or Puru clones, if you want to pronounce correctly, from, the Zeta, double Zeta onward. So they're picking up immediately with Witch from Mercury with the clone aspect. But then it gets a little deeper and stranger because then there's something amiss with the Age of Soletta. We know cloning is happening. And then we see the bits on the aerial form into a person, potentially, and then it's used to attack. That could be just a visual representation of what is occurring. They're like hinting to the audience that we have previous versions, let's say 21 years ago, but take revenge for... Well, so how early then would have Aerie had to have been in the aerial to start getting data, and then she would die, and then they would implant that consciousness into the aerial and then have another one. I mean, I'm curious what you guys think. So based on the information I just pulled, what do you guys think is going on with the Witch from Mercury? I really like that it has to go in a different direction we haven't seen before, and maybe one that's kind of morbid. I mean, think about it, the death, the clones, and all that. But what would be cool about this is how different than for a Gundam story, how they're taking the tropes and kind of turning it on its head. Curious what you guys think. Is there anything I missed or any other theories that are a lot more prominent now? But also let me know, is this too much G-Witch in a week? I have a whole bunch of other videos like UC related and other AUs. I just didn't really have time to get those up yet, so I wanted to talk on this, so I put this up. So let me know if that's too much. But again, leave in the comments what you think. See you guys later.